Hello, friends. Welcome to the new episode of French Language Academy, the one and only podcast designed to teach emerging French learners like you. Whether you are a beginner, intermediate, or efficient in French, you are sure to take practical advice when listening to our podcast. This podcast is the English version of our previous episode on transportation in France. My name is Rajan Singh Chauhan, and today we take an in depth look at the means of transportation in France. When planning a trip to France, it is essential to decide how to get around. This quick France transportation podcast covers all the means of transportation in France, with our recommendations on what to use depending on your travel style, itinerary, and your budget. If you are visiting France from outside Europe, you may not be familiar with some French transportation options. This podcast will take you step by step through each means of transportation in France so that you know what to expect during your trip. The first one is car. France by car is a fun way to explore the country. With a car and a good map, you can visit beautiful places difficult to reach by bus or a train. In fact, many off the beaten path towns in the mountains and countryside can only be explored by car. We recommend a French road trip if you want to focus on a specific region, visiting the main cities and towns and its hidden gems. If you want to do the French wine routes or you fancy staying in one of the wonderful chateau hotels in France, you will need a car too. If you want to combine a holiday to Paris plus a road trip to explore another region, most of the time it is smarter and also cheaper to take a train from Paris to this region and then rent the car there. For example, if you want to visit Paris plus Alsace, take a train from Paris to Strasbourg or from Paris to Colmar and rent a car from one of these two cities in Alsace. French roads are considered the best and best maintained in the world. Apart from the highly developed motorway network, the secondary network composed of national and departmental roads is also of very good quality and has a definite advantage. It is free. At a time when fuel prices are constantly rising, the car is still a good alternative, especially during trips made by several people. The negative point remains, however, on substantial routes, the price of tolls which also continue to increase. The next one is train. Like its road network, the France also benefits from an extensive rail network. It is an economical way to travel, of course, if you are part of the SNCF. Trains are favorite means of transportation in France. Train travel is an excellent way to explore the most beautiful cities in France. France has an extensive network of fast trains called TGV, intercity trains, intercité, and regional services connecting smaller cities and towns. If you live in the neighboring countries, international trains are also a good and fast way to visit the main cities in France. Regarding the negative points, let us mention the uncertainty of schedules related to the different strike movements that can be organized often during the period of departure on vacation. Little annoying anyway. The plane. If you are traveling far between two big cities and you are in a hurry, the plane is certainly the means of transport that is right for you. The France is stretching for more than 1000 kilometers from north to south and from east to west. The aircraft is undoubtedly the most effective way for long distances. The recent arrival of low cost airlines undeniably pull prices down. Count €30 for a Lille to Marseille without checked luggage. 1 hour of flight it makes the trip easier. People are convinced to save time with the plane, but do they have to count the famous hours of waiting imposed by companies before boarding? Time to have your luggage checked in and picked up on arrival. Nevertheless, over significant distances, this means of transport seems more and more efficient and affordable. The bus, a means of transport often shunned by travelers, the bus has been rebuilding its health for several years. Companies specializing in passenger transport offer an attractive prices to connect major cities in Europe and especially in France. It is an economical transport. Count €40 for a Paris to Amsterdam, for example. No worries about waiting to check your luggage or fatigue related to driving. Just get on the bus and let yourself be transported. The only complaint that can be made to these companies is the transport time. If you travel long distances, you should not be in a hurry and especially not have motion sickness. Now, we have come to the end of our podcast episode. This is the English version of our previous episode on transportation in France. So don't forget to join us next week for another episode. Thank you for listening. If you like this podcast, we'd love for you to subscribe, comment, and share this with your friends so we feel encouraged to do more. So until next time, bye bye.